Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Realtree, Muddy Outdoors, Frigid Forage, Hoyt Archery, Fuse Accessories, Rocket Broadheads, Scott Archery, Redneck Hunting Blinds, Cabela's, Bloodsport Arrows, Trophy Rock, Yeti Coolers, Non-Typical Wildlife Solutions, Quiet Cat, Deer Grow, Icon Cameras, and Nikon.
Well, it's day 3 of my hunt here in Nebraska, and just got settled into the stand for the evening hunt. The weather has finally cooled off. It's in the mid-60s right now. Got a north wind, and I'm set up in a little staging area food plot. Got big timber bedding to the north and to the west of me. Deer move through out to a soybean field off to the east of me, and I got a little staging area food plot here. Some brassicas that haven't come in real well, but the deer are actually hitting them quite a bit. So it's a cool setup. There's actually a scrape right underneath the tree. Looks like it's been worked over pretty recently. So I'm looking forward to tonight's hunt. But the hunting has been really slow so far. There's a lot of things going on right now that I think are contributing to the lack of deer activity. And one, certainly it's been the temperatures. It's been in the 90s, the first week of the season. The bucks are, at the point where a lot of them have shed their velvet or in the process of shedding. Behavior's starting to change a little bit. And the third thing is the acorns are dropping. We'll see tonight. Man, if I don't see any deer movement tonight, I'd imagine that's what's going on.
Well, when this buck stepped out, he definitely got my attention, got my heart going. But as I got a better look at him, I realized that he was a younger deer. And on this particular property, I was looking for a big mature 8-pointer, and obviously he was a younger 10-pointer. So even though I didn't pick up my bow, I was fortunate to be able to watch this deer and see what he was going to do. I thought maybe he would spend some time in the food plot and then move on to the soybeans. But instead, he turned around, went back to the direction he came from, and started feeding on acorns along the edge of the timber.
Just had an encounter with a really good 10-pointer. Came out of the timber from the west-northwest, worked his way right up to the edge of the food plot, about 12 yards away. That buck turned and went back, and then fed on acorns along the edge of the timber for probably 10 to 15 minutes, and then went back into the timber and probably continued to feed on acorns. So that's something to consider, if you have a season that's either open or opening soon. So the acorns may be the place to be.
Well, after the 10-pointer drifted off, I had a couple younger bucks that came out into the food plot and provided the entertainment for the rest of the evening. But unfortunately, I ran out of time on this hunt to try to find where the deer were concentrating, feeding on acorns. But one thing that did work was hunting the staging area food plot over a green food source that was close to where there was a lot of acorns on the ground. That was my best hunt on this trip. And now I'm just waiting for a cold front to come through to get back over to Nebraska and hopefully catch up with that big mature 8-pointer that's been using that area.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. We're talking about food sources this week, for part of the episode at least. And that's the fact that these deer are abandoning almost all the other food sources and really piling in on the acorns.
We're up in a little oak ridge and the acorns are falling all over the place up here.
So keep that in mind. We're gonna be hunting some early seasons here with the youth season coming up, and we've got an October 1 opener in Iowa. And a lot of states in the Midwest have, either an early youth season or roughly an October 1 opener. And it's going to be an acorn pattern, which can be really tough to hunt. The deer can be spread out and feeding just about everywhere. So keep in mind, they're not going to eat just one thing all the time though. At some point, they're going to pop out and grab a bit of green browse someplace, or like what I'm planting here. This is going to be an autumn quick plot, food plot, along with pure trophy blend clover for next year. But the green food plots like that, alfalfa, clover, the brassicas like the big and beastie, we're going to start to see more deer kind of, dabbling around the edges of those food plots. So now I'm going to talk about what I'm doing next here, and that is to start my fall survey of bucks. And this is probably the most exciting time of the whole season for me, because you don't really know for sure what's out there until you get these trail cameras out. I figure I've probably got about close to 20 spots on this farm, and I've got 7 or 8 cameras. So I'm gonna have to be moving them around a fair bit. Then next week, I'll show you what I find on these cameras. That really kicks off the patterning process for the fall. What we find now from here on until about the middle of October are the bucks that we're gonna be hunting this fall. So that's, like I said, it's a pretty exciting time. The spot that I'm sitting down right now, this has always been a clover plot over the years, but this is one of the pivotal spots on the whole farm because it's right in the middle, and it's down in a valley, which makes it pretty tough to hunt. But it's a great spot for holding the deer in this part of the farm. In fact, back in 2012, this was one of the spots where the double G4 buck was spending almost all of his time. And we could find him on trail camera almost anywhere in this bottom every single day. Between here and then the next little field over. He was living in such a small area, and part of the reason was because he had a prime food source in there that he didn't have to travel to find food. So we like to have these little spots spread around as much as we can, because then we can anchor deer in different spots. We don't feel like they're quite as mobile or that they travel quite as much to find food, because we've got these little lush feeding areas for them spread around the farm. In this next segment, we're going to be joining Luke Nissen, and he picked up a tip someplace. We didn't invent it here, but it's the horizontal mock rubs. And he went out and established one of these in one of his hunting spots. I did a little work on some food plots there. So he's gonna explain how this process works. So we'll be able to follow this throughout the fall and see how the deer respond to this horizontal rub.
It's September 16th here in southern Iowa. Aaron and I came out to a spot today that I've been working on all summer long. Bill's always been talking about these poor man plots, and I finally decided to do one of my own. It actually took me about 4 full days this summer, coming in, cutting down trees, using a string trimmer, getting rid of the weeds, spraying it, and also using a garden tiller to finally get some good seed to soil contact for when I came in to plant my autumn quick plot. So we came in today and sprayed Plot Boost, but in the meantime we got a rain coming on Thursday, and before then I'm going to try and get down here into this plot and spread some more seed. We just want to fill in the gaps and get some more of this autumn quick plot growing before the season, because I know in these smaller plots how fast the deer can wipe them out. And as you can see in my right hand, we're only a few months away from Christmas, so I decided to go out and cut my Christmas tree down. It's a nice little Scotch pine here. No, I'm just kidding, but we're gonna try something new here on the edge of my poor man plot. I've been hearing a lot about these horizontal rubs, so we're gonna set this thing up. We'll show you how we're gonna do it, and then we're also gonna hang a muddy vantage stand just 20 yards off the edge of this plot. So we got our horizontal rub set up, and the process was fairly simple. What we did is we went and we cut down a Scotch pine tree. We did 2 different cross sections here to get it held, fairly steady. We got it set up about 2.5, 3 feet off the ground where it's easy for the buck to get at. And these Scotch pines, when you're working with these or any type of pine, make sure you wear some gloves. If I didn't have these things on, my fingers would be stuck together. They're very, very sticky, and that's why the deer like them. They hold a lot of scent, and we're hoping that deer traveling along this ridge this fall are gonna come in, and the bucks are gonna rub back and forth, and they like to do that on this real sappy stuff because it holds the scent from their forehead glands. And when we cut this Scotch pine up, we trimmed a bunch of the branches off it, and what we're gonna do is just over my left shoulder up here, we got a tree that we're gonna hang a muddy vantage stand in. and hopefully this fall we can get a nice 15-yard chip shot with one coming by. And we're also going to use these extra branches as cover, so we're going to stick them in up in the tree stand, and let's get that thing set up. But we just got our tree stand hung and just got a trail camera put up over our mock scrape along with our horizontal rub. And I'm really excited to hunt this spot this fall, put a lot of work into it this summer. There's been a lot of great bucks coming through this area this summer, so hopefully this fall we'll be able to get a shot at one over the Poor Man plot. You know, we got a green food plot here, we got a pond, and we got lots of oaks around. I just picked up a whole handful of acorns. There's acorns everywhere in the timber right now. So, and it's on a ridge, it's on a travel corridor. We seem to have everything in one spot, so hopefully it'll work out for us up on this ridge top this fall.
Well, that's it for this week's show. I'm going to be back again next week, and I'm going to pull the cards out of these cameras during this week between now and then. So hopefully we'll have a few bucks to look at and talk about, and we'll really start diving into the patterning process after that. So we're getting, I guess we'll have youth season that's coming in between now and then as well. So Drew's going to be hunting at least for a couple of days this coming week, so we should have some action for you from that, I hope. So we're going to be looking for some of these bucks that we found during the summer when we were filming. There were some really nice, mature, good, solid bucks that we filmed in late July and early August. We got an idea where some of those are at. So we'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.